Okay, you've made your decision. You're moving to Jonesboro. But wait, today I'm going to go over 5 current things that you need to know before moving to Jonesboro. And after you check them out, you may change your mind completely and you may be even more excited to move here. So stick around. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Jonesboro and also moving to Jonesboro, then hit that subscribe button and also click that little bell, and that way you'll be sure to be notified every time I post a new video. My name is Derek. I'm with eXp Realty, and whether you're moving in 9 days, 90 days, or 9 years, I want to help make that move to Jonesboro in the Northeast Arkansas area easy for you. If you look down below in the description of this video, you'll be able to find all of my contact information. You can send me a text, you can call me, you can send me an email anytime, and I'd be happy to help make that move to Jonesboro as smooth as possible. Okay, let's talk about the 5 current things that you need to know before moving to Jonesboro, Arkansas. Number 1 that I'm going to talk about is something that's affecting every home buyer and seller throughout the United States right now. And then later on, I'm going to get into number 4 or 5. Stick around with me because I'm going to let you ride along with me through some neighborhoods as we kind of talk about some different new construction homes and price points here in Jonesboro. So stick around for that. So number 1, let's talk about interest rates, current interest rates. So I just looked at it today. It's looking like rates are between 6.8%. Percent. That's on a 30-year fixed mortgage. Obviously, if you were to do a 15-year fixed mortgage, it's going to be a little bit less of a rate. But rates, depending on a lot of different factors, it's hard to pinpoint an exact rate for a buyer. I usually let loan officers do that. I'm great with finding you the right home and that kind of thing. But these local, and I always recommend these local loan officers here in Jonesboro, Northeast Arkansas, I've worked with some really good ones, and I always like to refer people to them. So interest rates, they're affecting everybody. They're affecting home sellers because there's a smaller pool of buyers, obviously. And it's also, obviously, it's affecting those buyers' purchasing power. So luckily, we live in an area with affordable housing. I know a lot of locals will say, no, that's not really affordable here in Jonesboro anymore. But when you compare it to larger metro areas, I think you can get the bang for your buck here in Jonesboro. Another thing we need to talk about that's being affected, inventory and how interest rates do affect inventory. They affect it because these home sellers that have these 2.5, 3, 3.5 interest rates that they got a few years ago, up to 4 years ago, they don't want to sell right now. And, you can't blame them because they're locked into a really good rate. So that's affecting our amount of houses that we have to sell for these buyers that are willing and able to buy right now. So that's something to consider. If you're thinking of moving to Jonesboro, we do have low inventory right now, but in the last 7 days, we've had, let me check my notes here. We've had 87 residential listings come onto the market. And also in that same time, we've had 57 residential listings sell. So that's always good when we have more coming on than more going off the market. But we still have a lack of inventory, lack of quality inventory. We're starting to see some more new construction on the market, which is good, which is helpful. Another thing I wanted to touch on with interest rates is the future of interest rates and where the experts see those interest rates going as we get into later in the year. So, if you look at this graph here that I'm about to put on the screen, there's some experts saying that, once we get to Q3 of 2024, then rates should be down around the 6% mark. And then as we move into Q4, we're looking below that 6% mark, even down to 5.8 or so. What that's going to do is that's going to bring a whole lot of more buyers to the market. And if we still have a low inventory situation, that's going to drive those prices up even more. So that's something to consider if you're thinking about moving to Jonesboro. And even if you do live in Jonesboro currently and you follow this, be mindful of when those interest rates get below 6, everything that the experts are saying is we're going to have kind of a COVID situation because there's a lot of pent up demand. Okay, so the number 2 current thing that I think it's important if you're moving to Jonesboro, Arkansas, and in my opinion, it's probably the biggest opportunity for home buyers right now, is new construction housing. So in our area, I think we have some of the best builders in the state. I think a lot of them do a really good job. But you know, when the market starts turning like this, these guys that have a whole lot of projects, they start getting a little antsy. I've got a couple of builder buddies and they will confirm that. So that's why I think if you're moving to Jonesboro, Arkansas and you're a home buyer, you may have an opportunity with new construction. Just sold a new construction home to a client that actually found me on this YouTube channel, moving here from Jackson, Tennessee, and he couldn't believe what he could get for the price here compared to there. So obviously it's more affordable than some of these other surrounding regional states and cities. But I think it's a big opportunity. For one, I think there'll be some negotiating going on as these houses sit longer. These builders, they want to get their money out and move on to the next project. So there may be some wiggle room there. And also incentives with these builders. You know, they may be willing to do some things, pay some closing costs for buyers, do a rate buy down for buyers to get that interest rate even lower for a couple of years, give you an allowance to do some things to the new construction property that maybe you wouldn't be able to get in a previous market that we had back when everything was selling in a day and they couldn't build them fast enough. Also, I think, you know, the negotiating, obviously there's going to be wiggle room if these builders want to get off these homes. But also I think there's some opportunity for home buyers to customize their new construction home. These homes that have just went up or have just went up in the past couple of months, they may not be in that phase where they're done finishing it yet on the interior. And I think that could be great for a home buyer that wants to wait to Q3 to maybe get a lower interest rate. As these experts say, they're going to move down. So it may be something to look into as we get into the spring and into the summer. But new construction right now, there's starting to be more of them. As I just checked here, you know, I think there's like 100 in the area, new construction homes, various builders, various sizes, various price points. Really think that it could be a good opportunity for someone moving here. Maybe if they want to try to get a deal or try to get a little under the market. Obviously these builders can't go below too far under market, but I think they're willing to do some concessions, pay some closing costs, maybe do a fence, do some flooring allowance or something like that. Like I just talked about, I helped a couple move here from Jackson, Tennessee, relocate here with one of our larger healthcare providers. And I absolutely love helping relocation clients. They've become outside of my sphere of influence, you know, people I know and my past clients. Relocation clients have become one of my favorite. So if I can help you in any way, you're relocating to Jonesboro, the Northeast Arkansas area, here's my contact information. Reach out to me, text, call, email. Anything you'd like, I'd love to help you. Okay, so real quick, let's take a ride through a couple of new construction neighborhoods that are, in my opinion, really affordable homes, you know, in the 200s to 250s, and even some of them are going to be under 200,000 here. I'll give you a quick peek. If you have any questions about any of these homes or any of these areas, obviously contact information just showed it to you. Just reach out to me. Let's check these out, and then we'll get on to number 3 of the current reasons why or current things you need to know before moving to Jonesboro, Arkansas. Okay, number 3 on the current things you need to know before moving to Jonesboro, Arkansas. Okay, so obviously everyone knows Jonesboro if you're looking in this area. So, in my opinion, these 2 towns that I'm about to mention, they're smaller, but I think they're hidden gems. And the people that live there are from there that have moved off. They may tell you that they're not, which is typical. But I've sold houses to people in both of these towns, and they really love them. So the first one I want to talk about is Trumann, Arkansas. So if you look at it on the map, it's right south of Jonesboro, probably 10 minutes away. But Trumann is growing. They've got some commercial stuff going on with a big new development that's about to kick off there. And there's some new construction in Trumann that's going to be typically cheaper than your Jonesboro new construction. And it's very close to Jonesboro. So I've had people that actually reached out through this channel. They found me on this channel and they wanted to check out new construction homes. And they're from Arizona and they just couldn't believe, how much per square foot they could get here relative to Arizona. So there are new construction homes there. There's also some existing construction that's going to be a lot cheaper than if you buy in Jonesboro. I think I was just looking at the notes. Let me check it out here. So in Trumann, in the last year, the price per square foot sold, the average price per square foot is around $96 per square foot, where in Jonesboro, it's getting up over $100 a square foot. So there's some opportunity there in Trumann to purchase and get a lot more house than you could possibly in Jonesboro. The second one I want to mention is Lake City, which is just east of Jonesboro on Highway 18. It's about 10 minutes away also. After you pass all of our industrial area out there east of town in Jonesboro, then you'll come to Lake City. Really growing, a lot of new construction out there. There's some developments out there. Homes are really nice, brick homes. They may be worth your while if you're looking to move to this area. You want new construction, you want it to be in a price point under $250, a lower price per square foot, and you don't want to be in the middle of Jonesboro. I would definitely check out Trumann and Lake City. I think both of those are hidden gems for people looking to move to this area that don't quite want to be in the middle of Jonesboro. Another thing I wanted to mention about Trumann and Lake City, both of those areas are in USDA rural development eligibility areas, meaning that you could possibly get a USDA rural development loan for zero money down. It's a zero money down loan. There's pros and cons to that, but if you're in a situation where you may not have those down payment funds, that may be something to look at. So the number 4 on the current things you need to know if you're moving to Jonesboro, Arkansas, a couple of things. Number 1 is we like to say y'all. So before you move to Jonesboro, Arkansas, you need to make sure you're practicing y'all instead of you all. I had a client they were calling and I was talking to her and her family. They're looking to move here from Las Vegas. And when I was referring to both the wife and the husband, I would say y'all, and eventually they stopped me and they said, Derek, we don't really understand what you're saying. What do you mean by y'all? And I had to explain it to them. It's you all, but we've got it into a contraction here in Arkansas. So if you're moving to Jonesboro, Arkansas, make sure you're practicing your y'all. Another thing I want to mention of number 4 is I've mentioned in my other videos, my pros and cons of moving to Jonesboro, Arkansas, is the traffic. It's a hot button issue here in Jonesboro with the locals. We just, they're working on it. The city, the state, the highway departments, they're trying to get it right. But, you wouldn't believe the amount of distance that it takes to travel on like a Saturday afternoon, and even a Friday evening once everybody gets off work. Like it's traffic for the size of Jonesboro. Traffic is, there's some places, Hilltop area, down Highland Drive, down Red Wolf Boulevard, Southwest Drive. There's some areas that it could get really backed up. So be prepared for that. If you're coming from a larger metro area, it may not bother you at all. If you're coming from a country area with not a whole lot of traffic, it may get to you, may aggravate you a little bit. So be on alert for that. Okay, so the number 5 current thing you need to know before moving to Jonesboro, Arkansas, it's about the closing process. I want to make sure that I mention this, talk about this a little bit. As I have clients that relocate here to Jonesboro, there's always the issue of them selling their home and then making the transition here and closing on the Jonesboro or Northeast Arkansas home. I'll tell you a story. I had a client that they actually sold a home here, and they were purchasing a home 4.5 hours away. So their plan was to sign here on a Friday and then go and sign 4.5 hours away on the same Friday. So is that doable? Yes. If you can get the title companies there and here to work together, yes, it's doable. Do I recommend it? As a seasoned real estate agent, I don't recommend it. I recommend if you're selling a home, if you're relocating to Jonesboro and it's over like a 2-hour drive, 3-hour drive, it may be best to close on that home, get reservations at maybe a hotel when you come here, and then the next business day sign here, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes with these title companies. There has to be money wired from one place to the other to complete the purchase. That's if you're selling a home there and you're taking funds to put as a down payment here. There's so many things that could go wrong with a quick turnaround like that. So I always recommend people get your home sold where you're coming from, relocate here, find you a nice hotel, Airbnb, get you some rest, and then close on the other home. Now, we've done it before here. Title companies are great here in our area. To be honest, I've really never had a bad title experience with a couple of them. Nick's Title, Professional Title here in Jonesboro, they've always been great about getting mail outs. So if you wanted to close on a home and you didn't have to sell yours where you're relocating from, and you couldn't get to Jonesboro, the ladies at the title company have always been good about mailing out the package for you to sign and then overnight back. There's ways to get around it. It's just my recommendation. I've sold hundreds of houses. My recommendation is always to close on that one, come over here, take your time, make sure all the ducks are in a row, and then you can sign for your new one. I was telling you that story about the people that left here that I helped sell their house. Well, once they got to where they were going, the title company had already closed, so they couldn't sign until the next day. So now they're rushing to get a hotel room, to make sure that they had a place to stay that night. So there's always things that could go wrong. It's real estate, stuff happens, but I always recommend if you're relocating from somewhere else, get that home sold. Come here, take your time, and then let's get that one closed. Hey, if you've stuck with me this far, I really appreciate for you watching the 5 current things that you need to know before moving to Jonesboro, Arkansas. I hope this educated you a little bit. And if you have any questions at all about moving to Jonesboro, Arkansas, living in Jonesboro, Arkansas, relocating to Jonesboro, Arkansas, all of my contact information is here. You can call, you can text me anytime. I really love helping people relocate to this area. Always love meeting new people. So if I can help you in any way, please reach out to me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also hit that little bell. That way every time that I post a new video about Jonesboro, Arkansas, living in Jonesboro, Arkansas, that you're made aware of it. I appreciate you.